And let's get into the lightening modes. Now we've got this lovely model with her colorful hair springing out, but you'll notice that once again it's a low contrast image. I've gone ahead and created a brightness contrast layer set to 0. And again, I could do this for any type of adjustment layer. I just like brightness contrast because it's so easy to tell when it's really off. And I've set it to overlay. So when I turn it on, voila, we get a nice higher contrast image. Now you might ask yourself, well, what if we wanted to go even more contrasty? Well, we could duplicate it again and voila, we start getting even more. In this case, I don't like how the lights are getting burned out. So what do we have to make things darker? Well, we've got multiply. The opposite of multiply, well, we've got screen. So we can just hit up multiply and you can see the difference between these images. So this might be a little overboard. What would I do then? Well, in this case, this would be multiply. So every 33% of multiply is about an f-stop. So let's go down to just 33%. There we go. Just a touch. That looks much better. All right, so we have an image to work with. Let's go ahead and pop open our other image, Amber. Now you'll notice that on these two images, they have quite a bit of dark areas in them, even though this is a deep gray. And let me show you what I mean. If I click on here, well, I guess that is a close black actually. We'll have it at about 4% brightness. It's equal all down the line, so there's no color involved. And so it's a pretty dark image. We have it going around in this quadrant. And then over here, it's also a fairly dark image. So the reason that I chose these is that I'm going to be working it with lightening modes. So if I'm going to lighten something, I might as well start with something dark. So let's say that we just start with lighten and lighten color. Now these are the opposites of darken and darken color, whereas darken would handle things in a channel by channel basis, and darken color would handle things as a composite basis. Lighten will now handle things on a channel by channel basis. Lighten color will handle things on a composite basis. So one more time what that means, if I were to break off channels, each of these channels is one channel. Notice that blue is on this amber is almost non-existent. Green, red, yeah. But if you turn them all on, you get a composite. So the composite means that the RGB between these two layers, this RGB channel, will be affected. Channel by channel means that the red channel will affect the red channel, the green channel will affect the green channel, and the blue channel will affect the blue channel. Let's go ahead and pop this back over so it's out of the way. All right, so let's talk about what this is doing. So lighten is the opposite of darken. It will keep the lightest pixel on a channel by channel basis. And then, of course, with all these lightens, it will knock out true black. So that 100% black that we have is going to disappear, and we'll see just the background on it. Everywhere that's not pure black, we'll have a comparison, channel by channel, to get the different colors. Now, if we want to have it do a knockout on a pixel by pixel basis, comparing the topmost RGB channel, we would use lighten color instead. So just as a demonstration, lighten color, lighten color. And one more time, let me just zoom in a bit so you can really get the understanding. Lighten, this is channel by channel. Lighten color, this is a composite. So notice in this case, because it's a composite, it will have harsher transitions, whereas channel by channel, it will have softer, smoother transitions. Now, it's a little more predictable what will happen with lighten color, and depending on what you're working on, this will generally be what you're going to use. But notice the broken up areas. If you truly want things blended beautifully together, then, and if you're, for example, if you're doing something more artistically, then you'd probably want lighten because it will generally have a more blended effect, especially in something like this amber, which is almost entirely missing a channel. If we were to set this to normal for just a moment, what I mean by that is blue. Take a look at this blue. There's almost nothing in here. So this will work very well with the lighten color or the lighten effect because there's one fewer channel to be blended. As in the black, the pure black just gets knocked out. So most of that's black, it's mostly gone. You can see where there is some blue, we're having a little more difficulty. We've got these strange gray effects. So with that in mind, this is just affected by opacity. So you can do adjustments on it to get more or less of whatever's happening. You can start getting some beautiful effects with lighten and lighten color. So that said, when do you use lightens? Generally when you have darker colors, because you're going to be getting rid of those. The blacks get knocked out. When do you use darkens? Generally when you have, lightens when you have darker, darkens when you have lighters. Darkens when you have lighter colors, such as white, which will get knocked out immediately on everything. Okay, so with those out of the way, let's start investigating the more interesting three that we have, namely screen, color dodge, and color dodge add. All right, I'll see you in the next video.